Yep. All right, all right. Good morning. Come on, good morning. That's better. That's much better. I'm sure you figured it out by now, but we are MAPEI. That's how you say our name. It's an Italian acronym. Materiali Ausiliari per Industria, Industrial Materials for Professional Installations. We've been in business since 1937. Can anybody tell me what was happening in Europe in 1937? Anybody? Yeah, there was a war going on. So some Italian fellow was sitting on his porch watching buildings get blown up. And he's like, I got an idea. What? We're gonna make this stuff to glue all this back together. You can't glue this back together. No, you can glue this back together. They put it together once, we can put it back together. This is what we're gonna do. So they started making the stuff to put this back together. And since 1937, we are a privately held company, third generation of the family. Now I say that because it is a big, giant mom and pop operation. And I know you're going, there's no such thing. Trust me, when the owners walk into the building, they walk into the laboratory and stick their hand in mud up to their elbow, pull it out and go, it's the wrong sand. This person owns a $1 billion company and can tell you you got the wrong sand in a product. So they were born into this. It's flooring royalty is what I like to look at it. For me, I'm Italian, that helped. Pardon?
Are they located in Modena?
They're located in Milan. That helped. But the reason I bring this up is it's about products. And it's about the pride in the making of the products. I don't make all of my money on one product. Can anybody tell me how many products MAPEI makes globally? 6,000. Not just mortar and grout, 6,000 products. We make products that take and wick oil and chemicals out of soil to turn a brown field into a green field. We make products for tunneling. We make waterproofing products. We make carbon fiber wraps for bridges, for buildings, for earthquake zones. We make products for concrete repair, for bridge repair, airport repair. We make mortar products. We make grout. We make self-leveler. We make adhesives. We make over 6,000 products globally. Here in the United States, it's probably around 1,000 is what we sell. So all of that technology cross-applies. That's why I bring that up. Today, gentlemen, if you would, today we're going to talk about the #1 issue in the tile business. #1 issue in the tile business? Grout. It's not the manufacturing of the grout, it's the application of the grout. A few things have happened in the last, I'll say 10 years. When I was in the business, a large tile was 16 by 16. That was breathtaking. 1/4-inch grout joint, so small. I don't know how this system's gonna work. Now, tile is 4 foot by 4 foot with a 16th-inch grout joint, and the homeowner's going, so why did it have to be so big? We can't get a smaller grout joint? Here's the problem. This creates some issues from an install standpoint. When I installed grout, it was smear it all over the floor, clean the whole floor. But now, when I have a 4 foot by 4 foot piece of porcelain, and I smear grout all over the top of that, I have to put 4 foot by 4 foot worth of water on top of that piece of porcelain just to get the top of the tile cleaned. I haven't even addressed the grout joint that I'm trying to address. And all of that water goes in a bigger grout joint or a smaller grout joint. Smaller grout joints. So there's a higher concentration of water in a smaller concentration of grout. This is not going to end well. So how do we fix this? From an install standpoint, guys, you got to change the way you grout floors. You got to focus just on the grout joint. Stop smearing the damn thing. Use 8 bags of grout when it should take half a bag to fill the grout joints, and stop smearing it all over, because we know how great cleaners we are. And then stop trying to clean the damn thing. Stop it. Put it just on the grout joint and just clean the grout joint. You'll use less water, there's less waste, there's less disposal, and you'll ensure the color. Because if it's cementitious, it has a pigment, and you're washing the color out. What Scott has right here is Flex Ultra Color Plus FA. The FA stands for fine aggregate, because as grout joints got smaller, if we had a big fat aggregate or a big piece of sand in there, then that meant we had less cement inside of there, and that weakened the structure. In a 1/4 inch, a 3/8 inch grout joint, that big chunky sand was perfect. But in a 16th inch grout joint, that big piece of sand is not perfect. You don't have enough cement in there to give strength to this thing. The other thing, we need to start convincing end users that those small skinny joints are bad. And here's another reason why from a maintenance standpoint. The exact same amount of dirt is going to become present in your house if I had a 1/2 inch grout joint or a 16th inch grout joint. And it's going to sit on top of your tile. And it's going to go to the lowest point in this system. Do you know what that lowest point is? Your grout joint. So now I'm taking all of that dirt and impacting it in a 16th inch grout joint. If I had a 3/8 inch grout joint, it would look 3 times better than it does in a 16th inch grout joint. And it's nothing to do with how good of a cleaner you are. It's just how life is. Dirt gets in there. That's why we clean all the time. But now you're not giving the dirt any place to go. I'm not knocking on the people, but what's the next thing we do? Oh, we pull out our Swiffer. So we snow plow the dirt into the lowest part because it doesn't pick it right. Well, isn't that what we're doing? A string mop at least drags in there and pulls it out. So there's some issues here that are self-inflicted wounds that are going on. The grout isn't getting worse. We're getting worse with the grout is what's happening. And that includes everybody's product in this room here. I'm speaking from an industry standpoint. Now that I got that off of my chest, let's talk products. Ultra Color Plus FA, #1 selling grout in the world. That makes it the #1 selling grout in the universe. I'm challenging anybody, anywhere, from any planet. If they have another grout that sells more than this one, bring it on, let me check it out. It's popular because, A, we're a global company, but again, because of that fine aggregate, and the European market got the fine aggregate part way before we did. And so it's sold in Italy, in France, in Germany, it's sold in Africa, it's sold all over the world, Australia, it's sold everywhere where there's population, Central America, South America, and that's why it's so popular. We have 9 plants in the United States. We have 68 plants globally making that product. That's what makes it the #1 selling grout in the world. It works. It's a rapid setting grout, but it's not so rapid setting you can't work with it. And because it's rapid setting, the faster I get water out of grout, the darker the color, or the truer the color is going to be. The longer water sits in grout, I keep washing the flavor out. I have a lovely glass of scotch. Amazing. I'm halfway through it. The ice cube melted. I put another ice cube in the scotch. I just ruined the flavor. Right? But I have more scotch. No, I have more water in scotch. That's what you're doing with grout. You're ruining that scotch. So by not smearing it all over the floor, I'm not adding more water to the system. I'm adding the water I need to clean it. But with this product, because it's rapid setting, it kicks off faster, you save the color. What Dario just did here is Flex Color CQ. Now, Flex Color CQ is like my glasses, which I don't have on me. Acrylic, and inside the acrylic is trapped a color-coded quartz. So let's just take a fish tank. We're gonna put purple marbles in the fish tank, and then I'm gonna fill the fish tank up with water. What color's the water? It's clear. And you're looking through the clear and seeing the purple. That's what you're doing with Flex Color CQ. It's clear acrylic, and you're looking through it and seeing the color-coded quartz. So you can't wash the color out because the color's not established by a pigment like it is in a cementitious grout. It's established by clear and a color-coded quartz. The other thing, this is cement tile. This is difficult to bond to because it'll stain, but it won't stain because there's no pigment. So I can go over cement tile with this product right here without damaging the tile, without added extra cleanup. It's a liquefied acrylic that's moisture activated. And so as I'm wiping it down, it's kicking off. Now I'm gonna do this differently than I'm gonna install this one right here. When I install the cementitious product, I'm smearing it on the floor. I'm mixing it up, and then I'm smearing it. And the whole time in my head, I gotta get this out of the bucket, I gotta get it on the floor, and I gotta get this thing clean before it gets away from me. With this product here, I'm going ahead as far as I can reach, left to right, and I'm putting it down. I'll go 10 feet, I stop. I close the lid, I go back, and I clean it. I like the way that looks. I come back over, I open up the bucket. I have a year and a half once I open that bucket up. I open up the bucket. It's always going to be the same because there's no pigment. So the color's established by a color-coded quartz. It's not going to change based on how much water I put in there. Mrs. Smith loves this color. She's going to love it coming out of the bucket. You're not going to alter the color. I do some more. On hot days, I might only be able to do 10 or 12 feet when I have to stop and clean up. Because if it starts to get crusty when I'm cleaning up on the back end, then I got to cut a foot or two off on what I'm doing. It should just be right before it starts to get crusty. Comes in all 40 colors, comes in all 40 colors. By the way, there's the MAPEI booth right there. We have 12 new designer colors. Now I say that because every 3 years we call in a color specialist, and this person goes ahead and tells us these colors are happening, this is what you want to drop, that color, that color, that color, and bring in more blues, more greens, more peaches. He tells us the colors, and it's based on lipstick sales, clothing sales, it's based on paint sales, it's based on what's going on in the architectural world and the design world. So we're always staying on the cutting edge with our colors. These are leveling clips. If you looked around the show here, you looked at some of these stunning tiles. One trend I see is that they're getting bigger and bigger every show. Like, people are not batting an eyelash now about a 4x4 tile. 3 shows ago, it would be like, whoa, look at that. Now, like, it's almost a mosaic. That's where we're at. Well, here's the problem with that. Within the manufacturing of tiles, there's an allowable tolerance for warpage per square foot. So the bigger the tile is, the more that tile can be warped and still within specification for industry standards. What if I had a tile that's warped this way and the tile I put right next to it is warped this way? They're both within standards, they're not faulty tiles, but now as the installer, I have to figure out how I'm gonna make this thing work. The way I'm gonna do that, leveling clips. Or I can put a 3/4 inch grout joint and they'll never know. Well, we're not doing that. So here's the other option, leveling clips. So now everybody has leveling clips. These, for lack of a better word, I like to call them spinny caps. So first things first. This, I pinch it and it comes off. I set it, I pinch the top, I set it on, and then I can give it a twist to adjust it and get it where it needs to be. The bottom part does not move or spin. It has a sleeve on it. It allows this top part to move and spin. So I'm not scratching the tile. I'm starting to see some of these tiles, I'm seeing these little swirlies, these little tornadoes in the corners, and I'm realizing it's because of this thing happening right here. Here's the other thing. Time is money. Now, I don't know who's doing the job, and I don't know how much you're paying them, but you can pay somebody to show up on the job and do that, or I can pay somebody to show up on the job and go. At the end, we kick these things off, we hammer them off, they break. This plate stays underneath the tile. This part comes off and snaps off. I pull this out of here, and I reuse this. And I keep reusing this. It was funny the other day, somebody asked me, you know, I love doing these things because when I go, does anybody have any questions? I really never know what's going to come my way. So somebody went, how many times can you pinch that before it's no good? Let me see the size of your hand. 19 and a half. I don't know. I don't think anybody did a pinch study on how many times we can pinch this. I can tell you I've done it a dozen times with the same one. I have one of these at home. Instead of a stress ball, this is what I'm using right here to have them. So I don't know what the life expectancy is on these, but it's more than once. I can tell you that. These come 50 to a bag, and then there's 100 of these in each bag. So you would need to buy 2 bags of this to 1 bag of these, and then these are reusable. These you would just have to keep rebuying. And the very last thing I want to talk to you about, foam board, like that table right there that we were moving around with one hand. We have foam board that cuts amazingly. I used to have a knife. No crumbs, no mess, no nothing. Lightweight, strong foam. Of course, it's waterproof. Almost all foam boards are waterproof until you poke a hole in them. Now, the board's still waterproof. The system's no longer waterproof. You see, you're not waterproofing the board, you're waterproofing the system. So the corners are going to need to be addressed. Any holes you poked in them, the seams, they're all going to need to be addressed. But it's a super lightweight, no mess, comes in 2-inch, 1-inch, 3/4, half, 5/8, half, and 1/4 inch. I think we got all the sizes covered there. We have it here in the United States. It's been shipped over, and the factory is being built in the United States so they can keep a continuous supply of the product out there. Are there any questions? Stunned you guys into silence. All right, listen, it's been a weird couple of years. That's okay. We all survived it. We got through it. We're gonna be better for it. So, do good work. Be proud of the work you do. Remember, no building gets a certificate of occupancy until we show up and put the floor in. They're waiting on us. Get paid for the work you do. Hire the next generation, mentor them and train them. We need some youth in this business. I'm not getting any younger here. I'm just saying. Make good money, be proud of the work you do. I'm proud of you. Everybody do good in 2023. Thank you very much.